Okay, hello everyone. So we'll be starting at 8:05. Until then, please settle down. And we have a special guest over here. He's the developer of Kamla, the horror game that was extremely popular, and a very close friend of mine as well, Shubham Rajanwar. He will be talking about his journey today. But before that, we will all say hello and greet each other with our rituals as well as get done with our first three rituals. And then we have Shubham for the rest of the evening to interact with each and every one of you guys. You can feel free to ask him questions, and we'll also have one person come on to the stage and talk to Shubham directly. So, yeah, very excited for today's session as I am always. And I do have to mention that, I still have to make those videos on the game jam entries, which is pending from my side from for the longest time. I can only do so much to apologize for the delay from my end, but don't worry, guys. I will get to it ASAP. Just a couple of things been stacked onto me back to back, so it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. But stay tuned. There's a lot of interesting things ahead. And yeah, we missed the last session for the first time since April. Ever since April 14th or so, we've been having these sessions almost regularly, with the exception of the last week. But yeah, every other word is banned, but not not the N word. Wait, okay. Mods, can you check that? I mean, we are going to be like a global community, so I don't want these things to be a bother for us. All right. So we are waiting for the next 5 minutes. Until then, we are just waiting. What else can I say? So I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys have had a fantastic week and weekend as well. Just give me a second, guys. Also, guys, I hope you guys have had a chance to check out the platform oppose.com that I've been talking about since the last couple of sessions. We've had some of our games listed onto oppose.com as well. Oh my god, Bittu, you you caught me. I actually indeed did copy paste your left, right. Okay, let me just correct that quickly. Wow, you caught me, Bittu. You caught me. Anyway. Yeah, so we've had some of our games from the arcade room land up on oppose.com. We've had Lightning Edge developed by Fade In from our community. And then just today, one of my game also got listed, Racing Maniacs, the racing game that I have created, inspired by NFS2 SE. I don't know how many of you guys over here have actually played NFS2 SE, but it was a fantastic game. Overall, it carried a lot of my childhood memories. I used to play like for countless number of hours endlessly, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I thought that it will be pretty cool to recreate it um, in my own style. So what I did was I added a couple of levels inspired by NFS2 SE at the beginning, and then I decided that because it's a retro game, why not make it into like a CRT style filter. And then on top of that, once I was able to create all the levels, I decided that I'll keep on adding more levels, and I'll also add a multiplayer mode. So the game has a lot of things right now. So it has a standalone multiplayer mode. It has some more new levels as well. There is a China level, there's a Mumbai level as well inside the game. So you guys can go ahead and try out the game. It is available both on oppose.com as well as on itch.io. So both the versions are pretty much the same, but moving forward, the oppose.com version will be receiving more frequent updates from my end. So stay tuned for that as well. Anyway, guys, so 2 more minutes to go, and then we'll start with our rituals, and then we move on to the special guest for the evening, that is Shubham Rajanwar. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started. We have the edge of a minute, so meanwhile, I'll just share uh, all the polls that we have. 1 second. Sharing the link. Please, everyone, come on to this link and let's start polling. So, first question: which city or area are you guys joining in from? Go ahead, guys. We have a couple of seconds to answer this. Hoping to see some interesting new locations for today. So let's see. 4 people are typing. Someone is from Kolkata, someone is from Ludhiana, VKSP. What is VKSP? Lucknow is someone is there from Lucknow, someone is there from Gorakhpur, someone is there from isolation. Okay. हैदराबाद से कोई तो है, छपरे पे से कोई तो है. Nice. World of Mumbai Gullies. My God, why do you guys have to pick this on me every single time? बगल वाले के घर से. Nice. Jharkhand protest. There is a protest going on in Jharkhand? I wasn't aware. Maybe I'm living under a rock. बीमारी से. What? Depression से. Okay. Alright, last 3 seconds, last 5 seconds, sorry. Last 5 seconds, and then we move on to the next question. Which city or area are you guys joining in from? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Now, moving on to the next question. Games that you've played this week. Go ahead, guys, and I'm gonna put the screenshot of our poll over here. Which games have you guys played this week? So let's see what are the answers. Chess Minecraft. What is chess Minecraft? Art of Rally. No games, only Mazduri. Chess, GTA San Andreas, Space Engine, Feelings के साथ, Delhi Gullies, nice. Slow Claps, Space Engine, Mumbai Gullies, nice, very nice. We have the developer of Kamla over here. You guys have played an unreleased game, but you haven't played his game. Very nice. Huh? Air Dash, under development. Okay, nice. Dihadi? What is Dihadi? Space Engine, game of job hunting. That's nice. I mean, that game of job hunting, especially in today's time, is running on super hard mode. Okay, so last 5 seconds and we move on. Games that you have played this week. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, and now the last question for the evening, and then we move on to the special guest for the eve. Played Kamla, just not in this week. Okay, so now we have the developer of Kamla over here. You might as well play it again. So last question for the evening: which mobile phone model do you guys use? Someone is saying Moto G64, S26 Ultra, telephone, Realme 14 Pro, मुंबई कली से खरीदा हुआ. नाइस, वेरी नाइस. हर क्वेश्चन में कोई ना कोई इंसल्ट फेंकनी है ना. आईफोन फोल्ड, व्हाट फोन इज दिस? ओके, alright. 5 seconds more, guys, and then we go ahead. निखिल जी का फ़ोन, मेरा फ़ोन किधर से कर लिया यार? मेरा फ़ोन मैं चेक कर लूँ यार. हाँ, मेरे पास ही है. Okay, so 5 seconds more, and then we move on to the special guest for the evening. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for participating in today's polls, and now let me invite Shubham on stage and do a short introduction about him, and then we actually allow him to talk and interact with all of you guys. So Shubham, mods, can you just have him on stage, please? stage. Shubham, can you invite to speak? Yeah, I have sent you a request invite to speak. Hello, hello, hello,
Hello,
Shubham. How are
hello.
you? Hope everything is fine.
I think it's fine. Is my mic okay?
Okay, so let me actually do a quick introduction about Shubham and then we let him do the talking. So, Shubham, as you guys might already know, he is the developer of Kamla The Game. Kamla is a horror based game. It talks about the life of a widow, sorry, a story of a widow who is captured inside a home, and you have to kind of, play the role of a tantric to kind of normalize the home. I mean, did I get that intro right? I mean, I'm sure you can do the intro much better. But yeah, on that note, Shubham, over to you. Please go ahead. The session is all yours, and feel free to promote or talk about your new game or interact with the audience. Entire stage is yours. Over to you.
Right. So first of all, the intro about the game was pretty much it. Right. Like there's not a lot in terms of what the game is. It's simply an exorcism game where you play as a tantric and you have to fix a widow named Kamla. And yeah, about me, guys, I'm Shubham. Shubham Rajanwar. I started a game studio a few years back, and Kamla was one of the first projects that we started working on, and it did quite well. And now we're trying to build another game with a bigger ambition and with a publisher this time. So I already see a lot of questions coming in. Do you want me to just answer them right away, Nikhil, or how do you want me to do this?
So it's a free flow session. You can either, like
Okay.
ideally, I would want you to talk a little bit about the journey of Kamla. I'm pretty sure you have covered it
Yeah.
pretty much everywhere already. So maybe something that you might not have told in any other interview. Let's start with that and we can
Sure.
go to the questions.
Sure. Actually, now that I think about it, there's not one person who worked on Kamla here. There are two. I see Ronchi here. Hi, Ronak. He's also in the room. So he was the main developer, by the way, on the project. I can quickly tell you guys about how this really started. I was in Pune in 2022, and I was figuring out a way to start my own game studio. And I wanted to basically have enough funds to support something like that. Because when we talk about PC console games, right, there is art, there is sound, there is a developer, and they have to kind of work together, and things can become expensive. I mean, now expensive is very relative, uh, depending on who the person is and the person's financials. But even spending like 5 to 10 lakhs was a huge thing for me back then, right? That is a big gamble because I myself was an employee. To basically fix this problem, I ended up moving to Germany, where I was earning more and working less, right? Because of the German laws and all, right? Working remotely, everything was more to what I needed. And around 2023 August is when we started working on this game. Before I started working on this game, actually, I was thinking about a lot of different ideas. Okay, what kind of games do I want to work on? Do I want to start a mobile gaming company? Do I want to really do PC games, console games? And before even deciding, I was already looking online to find people that look interesting, uh, but they're still like early, right? Like intern level people or junior level people that are really good at what they're doing. By really good, I mean really good in terms of design more than their specific skill set. So Ronak was actually one of them. So one of the first people I spoke to was Ronak. I found him through like a YouTube channel, right? And he had posted a game that he had made. He posted about a game that he had made on his channel, and I looked across that video and I saw someone who could think about design as well, not just code something. So I
Shubham,
thought, you know what, let me talk to this guy. Yeah.
Shubham, sorry to interrupt you. Do you mind if we actually have Ronsi over here for like 5 minutes as well?
Yeah, yeah, you
Uh,
can bring him on.
okay,
Sure,
so
sure,
so
sure.
guys, Ronak over here, Ronsi, was one of the programmers of Kamla. So I'm gonna invite him on stage. Is he still here? Yeah. Okay. Ronsi, I've sent you invite to speak. So please accept the request, and yeah, we can have like a small chat with you two. Hey, hi Ronak, what's up? Shubham spoke very highly about you.
Hey Nikhil,
Hello.
hey Shubham.
And I have to mention, Tejas also recommended to have you as one of the standalone speakers. So we will definitely be doing a standalone session with you as well. But now that we have both of you over here, it's fantastic to hear some unknown stories about the development of Kamla from the both of you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Shubham, you can first go on.
Yeah, so basically, I was saying that's how I found you. That's how I found Ronak, and I started talking to him about that. Hey, I have this plan, and this is what I want to do. Maybe if you're interested, we can start. And then I also found someone else whose name is Prem, and he was involved on the art side, and Ronak was doing the programming part on the project. Now, initially, when you're doing something like this, um, even small games can become quite big in terms of the development time. So we were really careful about what we wanted to start. And when we landed on the idea of Kamala, it was actually a mobile game. We built it like a mobile game. It was not very detailed. I mean, even the PC version is not that detailed, to be honest. But on the indie scale, it might feel detailed. The mobile version was much smaller. We built it in like 2.5, 3 months or something. But at the end of it, we were just not happy, and that's when we actually started to think about, okay, maybe this should be for PC, and we changed everything, added more mechanics, thought about like a respawn system where you spawn in different spawn points, and this 3 months planned project became like 7 months. So yeah, that's basically it. Ronak, maybe you think I think you should give like a small intro to the guys about yourself.
Okay, so hey everyone, I'm Ronak and I'm the gameplay programmer behind Kamla, as of course everyone has mentioned. I started my game dev journey when I was, in class 12th. I was just tinkering with Unity and everything, and that's how I started. Of course, Bracky is the king, and he's the one through which I started learning Unity and everything. I believe I remember I commented on a Twitter post by Sam Yam. She's one of the creators about Unity and game development and everything. And I commented about my game Vishnuvas, and that's how Shubham picked me up. We had a small Discord call after that, a few interview rounds and everything, and that's how I started working on the project. uh, the the whole thing is we took around 9 months. We had these three iterations of map, and for me it was kind of a very big learning experience, considering I never had this kind of a very professional level work that I did. So this was something. It was a big step for me, and of course I'm glad that Shivam gave me that opportunity to be here. Yeah, apart from that, yes, I have recently released my new small indie horror game Shunya. It's available on onish.io. You can check the link in the bio. Yeah, thank you.
So, Ronak, thank you so much, and I'll reach out to you to be like a special guest in the next session. But thank you so much for your
For
time.
sure.
Meanwhile, we'll get back to Shubham. Shubham, yes, we would love to know more stories about
Yeah.
Kamla and then move on to Q&A.
Yeah, definitely. So I think as long as stories go, I've already really said everything that is there online in some interview or the other. But maybe what I can do is I can look at these questions directly, and maybe I can take those to the stories that can connect to any part of how it went, right? That might be the right way.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah. Guys, go ahead, ask your questions. And Shubham, can we do this? Can we do something very exciting? Can we have top three people get a free copy of Kamla?
Uh, sure, let's do that.
Okay, guys. The
Done.
three most interesting questions will get free copy of Kamla. Now the stakes are high. Go ahead, guys. Ask your interesting questions, and
Okay,
Shubham will pick the winners, and we will announce them tomorrow.
cool. I did this question being repeated already. Since Kamala takes place in her husband's family mansion, will future games reveal more secrets about her family bloodline, or will a sequel focus on a completely different family curse? So they're already doing something that is expanding that universe. I can't share too many details about it, but there is a lot we're doing with the world of Kamala, even though the world of Kamala was quite small when we wrote it and when the game came out and people played it. Um, the YouTube community has made it much bigger than what we intended it to. So if you see, if you just go on YouTube and type, "Hey, Kamla stories" or Kamla, what happened, whatever, you see so many animated episodes now, or animated movies, or whatever you want to call them, because people have made different interpretations of what we wanted to do, and because of that, we were also quite inspired, and we have now been doing a lot with that. As far as Kamla 2 goes, you won't really see it anytime soon, but the Kamla world is expanding, and I will share that on Mad Mantra's Insta very soon, what that really means. Okay. We want physical discs. Interesting. So I can announce it here. Kamla will have PS5 physical discs coming out on August 20. That is actually a thing. We just confirmed it today, and that will be a thing. So that is that. What inspired you to make Kamla?
Shubham, is this being announced for the
Yeah.
first time ever, like anywhere?
Yeah, this is the first time I've told this anyone outside
Oh,
our studio.
let's go, guys! We are getting exclusive information about Kamla's physical discs for the first time in arcade room. Awesome, awesome. Go ahead, Shubham.
Yeah. So again, this is only for PlayStation 5, not for any other platforms. But yeah, if anyone likes collecting stuff, Kamla Disc, as one of those very, very, very few games coming out of India, have a PlayStation Disc. I'm very happy about it, and you guys can also collect it if you want. Um, so going back to this SR24, what inspired to make Kamla? Obviously, I've also talked about this previously, but I just wanted to make games and build a studio. Kamla was an outcome of thinking realistically. It is obviously, I am personally a much more hardcore gamer than like Kamla. Kamla is not a dream game that I would make, right? But when you're starting off, you want to make something small. And when we thought a lot and we brainstormed a lot, we landed on the idea of Kamla because it first fit in the budget, second fit in the time, and third and most important, we knew that the marketing effort we would have to take on that would be less compared to any other game that we would make. I can elaborate on this answer later. I'm pretty sure there will be marketing questions as well. Okay. Wait, Kamla is paid? Yes, buddy, Kamla is paid on PC and PS5. The free version is only on mobile, and it is the downgraded version. What amount of money you spend to market this game? We spent zero. We spent 0 rupees to market this game. Did you ever find Kamla in your dream? Say, why did you make a game on me? No, fortunately, I did not. Yes. Unscripted Ojas. Since the mansion holds so many secrets, was it specifically built as a place for those dark rituals, or did the family corrupt an otherwise normal home over generations? Very interesting question. Even this we have answered now, but I can't tell. Like, I will spoil something huge that is probably going to come out in a few months. So I unfortunately cannot answer this, but you will see. You will see what I mean today. You'll see in a few months. What are your next plans? Do you want to make multiplayer games like COD, Fortnite, Rivals? Honestly, no. The Outlaw, I don't think we will ever want to make FPS multiplayer games. I don't think so. I am quite interested in multiplayer as a genre, especially as a co-op thing. Games like A Way Out or Split Fiction or It Takes Two. I'm a lot more interested in those type of multiplayer games, and we might make something like that in the future, but nothing anytime soon. Is it true that marketing for the game was equally responsible for the success compared to the actual development process of the game? If you're talking in general, then yes. For us, we did not do any marketing, like I said. But so one thing I'd like to point out here, I talk with a lot of young guys who are getting into game dev and trying to either replicate what we did in some way or make different games that are based on Indian culture, and then kind of trying to have the same formula in their game in terms of not having to market the game and then getting attention through YouTube and all. Now, you have to understand that every game is different. We were okay with not doing marketing because of what type of game we made, and it was going to automatically create a lot of buzz on YouTube because of the elements that the game had in it. And not every game will behave like that. So when you build something, the easiest way to explain this is you can't market something that is not marketable. So marketing is very, very, very important. Even if we didn't do it and it worked out for us, you will have to focus on marketing a lot, and you'll have to focus on marketing before you even start building the game, which means you have to think about why this game is even marketable, right? What is the hook of my game? What makes my game different? Is there a specific type of niche type of people that will play this game, and how can I reach out to them? So there are so many factors that you need to think about beforehand. Okay. Unscripted who just says, okay, last question from my side. Why did the Tantric priest choose the specific family to save? Is it just job for him? Does the priest own family's line? You have a lot of story related questions, unscripted Rogers, and I can't answer any of them, unfortunately, because this will spoil something that we're doing very soon. But no, I mean, this question I can answer. Not specifically is trying to save the family. He is a tantric and he's called for help. So just like a doctor only doesn't treat one patient, he can treat many patients if they reach out to him. Adityaraj, what made you decide to develop this type of game, especially considering there are already more similar games in the market? Did you have any concerns about people comparing it to existing games like a copy? Also, how did you estimate the overall development cost for the project? That is a lot of questions. I'll answer the first one first. Now, considering there are a lot of similar games in the market is not always a bad thing. That means that a market for that type of game has been created, even if it's a small one, right? Now, obviously, there are going to be concerns that, okay, we're doing this game like basically like Indian granny type situation, right? कि people लोग ये granny से compare करेंगे. Tell me, Nikhil, if I should not talk in Hindi if there are outsiders here or something. So that was there, but that was not really a concern for us because you see, this is the first project we're making. The reason you are even asking me this question is because now the game has worked out. नहीं तो तुम पूछते भी नहीं, right? So which means it was a good decision to let it be similar to the other games. What we wanted is, because it's a first game and we want to take less risk in terms of design, that we first find a formula that is already working in the market, and then we add something onto it that can make that formula different. So let's say we took this Outlast slash Granny formula, a little mix of both, made it scarier, and applied a completely Indian theme to it and polished it as much as we could in terms of indie scale. And that's why it works. Now, if I had only copied Granny but made it very basic only and didn't change much, even the Indian theme wouldn't help us. But because we did so many different things, right? Now, Granny doesn't have like a panel system where when a story is told, it doesn't have cinematic, like small cinematics here and there to continue the story. It does not have ritual elements. So just these small things can make the same formula feel different and create an audience for you. So that's the answer to your first question. Second question. How did I estimate the overall development cost for this project? You think about how much time it is going to take. You think about how much artwork this game is going to need, and how much technical work, which is, let's say, the developer work, this is going to need. And depending on how many people you need, you can basically calculate, right? This is the salary I'll have to pay, this is how much money this will take, and you take a rough amount, and then you maybe add 30% on top of it just to be safe. Please try platforms, games. I do not know what that means, quintessential gamer. Okay. Will you consult us while building your next one? Consult you in what way? That is an open question. Big2 says, how hard or easy do you think it is to make the players feel the terror in a co-op horror game versus a single player co-op horror game? Honestly, it is much easier to build terror in single player games, obviously, because you can script things a lot better, right? Multiplayer games में तुम कितना ही script करोगे. Multiplayer horror games are fun, not just because there is terror, but because there are friends with you that you can interact with in that terror, and you're sharing the terror with people. So it is just much more engaging. But the actual scariness will always be like single player games. How did you reach these YouTubers? Devam, good question. Now, like I said, we did not pay anyone and we did not really spend anything on marketing. But one thing that we did do is we created a really long list of people that we can reach out to. And we really only put effort on reaching out to people that have 10,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers, maximum 1 lakh subscribers, because these people tend to at least reply and give your game a try, right? What we hoped is that enough of these small developers, small YouTubers will play the game, and they will create a snowball that reaches out to bigger and bigger and bigger YouTubers. So you want to find some way to get a smaller group involved and make sure that they are engaged enough that they only start making more content, and looking at those YouTubers, the bigger YouTubers will also feel like, okay, I also should try this because this is working out for this small YouTuber. So it has to be organic. Mr. Baked Baker, what was the inspiration behind Kamla game and Kamla character? Um, See, there are a lot of movies that have come out and that talk about a chudel this and a chudel that, very very old movies, Jani Dushman and that era, right? And I used to love those games as a kid. Sorry, no, movies as a kid. And I always thought about what if we just make a chudel game ourselves. Actually, before we landed on Kamla the chudel idea, it was different ideas also that we were thinking about. We were thinking about an evil Agori, for example. We were thinking about a Kamwali bai gone crazy or demonic. That was also something. And at the end, we thought, you know what, let's just keep it very classic because no one has done this. Chudel is such a common concept in India, but no one had made any, obviously, game on it. And we wanted to be the first one to properly do it on a good scale. Oh, by the way, what's the cost of the project? Now that is very hard to define at depth. The problem with defining the cost of the project is there are people who did work, but they were not really getting financially any financial benefit from it because they were just trying to help out. For example, the character that you see, the character of Kamla, that was done unpaid by a friend of mine as a favor. Obviously, all my work is unpaid because this is my game. So it's very hard to calculate, but you can think about like maybe 6 lakhs maximum, something like this. That was this total spend maximum, even if I count that. What advice would you give to the indie developers who are making their own games with small teams? Ansh, this is the best question so far. If you're an indie developer with a small team, I think one mistake that a lot of people are doing are they are not figuring out if their game is marketable before making it. They have an idea, they start building it. By the time they're close to finishing it or even finish it, it's too late if the game is not marketable already. It is not going to work out. You want to think about making these games, if you're talking about small indie games, as making really really fun Insta reels or really really fun YouTube videos. What is the catch? Right? If a viewer just starts watching your YouTube video, why will he stay? You have to think like that when it comes to small games, especially if you're talking about making games set in India. And before even you build it, you have to be sure, at least 70% sure, that when this comes out, people will at least look at it and be interested, right? So that ideation part, a lot of people are missing. Second biggest problem with a lot of indie teams, the developer you have who's building all your mechanics, he has to understand game design. He just has to. There is no. So the reason we chose Ronak, it was his first job. Okay, the reason we chose Ronak was he had already proved a sense of design before his job was a programmer, right? So that is very important. If you just hire someone or just start working with someone who's good at code, but they can't understand game design good enough, or at least your vision of the game design good enough, if you are the designer, then this game is not going to go anywhere. So make sure that the developer you have understands what a good feel is, understands how to build good feedback loops, understand how should a good cinematic look, understand how does a good game sound. So the developer has to have design knowledge. That's the best thing you can do when you start building games. Okay. Uh, let's see. There are a lot of questions here. What advice? I just answered this. Question: if someone makes a fan-made game around Kamla, will they face any legal issues? Yes, there have already been like 10 games like Kamla, and none of them have faced legal issue as long as they don't use our name and don't copy our files or something, right? So obviously, we're actually very happy that people are inspired and they're trying to build projects and they just make very similar things. That is completely okay as long as you're not just calling your game also Kamla and then confusing our players. As long as that is not happening, everything is fine. Go ahead and make as many games as you want. How much did you make with Kamla alone? As there is a lot of traffic on your game. Unfortunately, I cannot answer that, Dibum. Unfortunately, I cannot. Any idea or 2 cents on adventure co-op game? Very, very weird open-ended question. I'll have to skip that.
Okay, Shubham. So here, what we'll
When
do
I
is,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you. So what we'll do is we will let
yeah.
one of the members in the audience come on to the stage and interact with you, and you get to pick who you want on the stage. So it won't be Ronak now, but anyone else that you find.
Okay.
So guys, type in your questions, and whoever types in the most interesting question will also get to come on stage and talk to not Kamla, sorry, talk to Shubham directly. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll wait for a few seconds and see if there are any interesting
Sure.
questions. And Shubham, while you pick the other person, I have a
Mhm.
personal question. So, bordering on the similar lines of the games that were being made in terms of copycat games and whatnot. But what I found very
Yeah.
interesting was that the entire lore of Kamla was also, I think, expanded upon by some YouTuber, right? And this was right around the
Yeah.
time when we were showcasing both our games at Gamescom Latam, and you showed these videos to me, and I was like genuinely surprised, right? So what was that like? What was that content? Do you remember the channel name or something on that lines?
Yeah. There are these channels on YouTube that make horror animated episodes. I exactly don't remember the channel names right now, unfortunately, but there are a few of them. And because Kamla went quite viral, um, they started building episodes on Kamla and yeah, Khuni Monday, that is correct actually. Unscripted Ojish. Khuni Monday was one of them. And because there was so much hype around that on YouTube, they started building episodes on it. And because of the hype, episodes also started getting blown up. And then there were just a whole series of people making their own version of the Kamla story and animating it. We were very happy with seeing that, honestly, because that meant that the concept was so ingrained in their brains that they were willing to put effort behind creating more content on it, and people were also supporting that. So yeah, I was very happy.
That is actually so cool. So you know what? I want to really have unscripted Ojesh on stage to interact with you, because he seems like such a big fan and is invested into Kamla. What do you think, Shubham? Should we invite unscripted Ojesh
Sure,
on the
sure, sure.
stage?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
works.
Unscripted Ojesh. Let me find you. Where are you? Where are you? Why can't I find you? Okay, yeah, got it. Ojesh, I'm inviting you on the stage. Just accept the invitation, and you get a chance to speak to Shubham directly.
Hello.
Hey, Odesh.
Yeah, first of all, good evening. And yeah, I'm really very nervous about it, but uh, uh, because I have played Kamla and I have too much theoretical question as I have asked some in chat only.
Okay.
But
Well, you
first,
can ask them again.
so first of all, one of my main basic question I have triggered that means what kind of you have avoided mistakes means you have in your mind there's some kind of question you also hit it that if our game works but still some not every adult going to play the some majority part kids will only going to play so how you have tackled that
Yeah.
part that we not need to make any more horror to make traumatized to small kids because I have seen my small cousin brother he always get he when he used to play Kamla he always get scared when he saw the Kamla.
Right. Uh, Interesting question, but if you see the mobile version of Kamla is very, very, very different from the PC version. And the reason is obviously most of these kids, like under 14, especially, they're going to play on phones. And that game is
Yeah.
much brighter than the original Kamla. It's much, much less scary, much less detailed. So the immersion kind of goes away and you don't really feel that scary. Now kids are obviously going to run away from feel scared from anything that is running towards them. अगर वो कमला नहीं होती कुछ और भी होता तो भी वो डरते ही obviously because it's just
Let me
kids.
let me tell
Yeah.
you that one of my cousin is that much fan of Kamla. He always watch your every kind of theory video that Kuni Mandi make on it, and he is the greatest fan of Kamla and other horror games.
Yeah,
And
that is
so
very good.
so while I also played that game, my always question around that why I have asked also that tantric, what that
Mhm.
person has to do. Only one family he has picked.
Okay, so this is just a premise, right? And he is someone this family called जैसे तुम जब बीमार हो जाते हो किसी डॉक्टर को बोलते हो ठीक करने के लिए तो वो डॉक्टर ऑब्वियसली सिर्फ तुमको ठीक नहीं करता लाइफ में उसने पहले भी लोगों को ठीक किया है तुम्हारे बाद भी करेगा इट्स द सेम सिचुएशन also I think we should do less questions about Kamla specific like story specific because not everyone probably played the game and they also want to have generic game development questions so let's try to talk more about that.
ठीक है तो एक और था कि जैसे एक ग्रैनी जो है हमारा वन ऑफ द मोस्ट पॉपुलर हॉरर फ्रेंचाइज है आप भी जानते होंगे तो
Yeah.
उसकी जैसे उसमें उसने धीरे धीरे इंट्रोड्यूस किया फैमिली पार्ट और ये सब तो क्या मतलब हम लोग इन फ्यूचर कि जैसे हम लोग कमला में जैसे कमला का भाई कमला की मम्मी पापा ऐसे करके कुछ देखेंगे मतलब
Yes, but I can't tell you what like
हाँ
कुछ भी
हाँ ये
detail में नहीं बता सकते मैं. Yeah, yeah.
हाँ तो
There is
जैसे
something very interesting behind the scenes. Uh, if I talk about that, it will spoil a lot of things for everyone. So
या
can't.
इट गोना स्पॉइल द मोर थिंग्स तो हाँ अब इतना ही है अभी के लिए तो बट बट आई होप फॉर द बेस्ट फॉर द कमला एंड फ्यूचर मैं क्या ही बोलूँ मैं खुद एक हॉरर पे काम कर रहा हूँ बट स्टिल थैंक्स थैंक यू निखिल
Cool.
सर
Awesome, awesome. Thanks,
All right.
thanks, Ojesh and Shubham. So we'll try to wrap up the session. So, any parting thoughts from your side, or do you want to take some more questions? We will put a hard stop at 9 p.m. But if you want to wrap up earlier, totally up to you as well.
Yeah, 9 p.m. works for me, not an issue. We can do anything you want. Do you want to take more people on the call or just should you just
Go for it.
continue answering?
You can pick the format. You are the owner of this format.
Okay. Does anyone else want to join the call?
Struggle.
Struggle says yes. Good essential gamer, Aditya Raj. Okay, let's do like 2 minutes with everyone. Aditya Raj, you can invite Aditya Raj first, I guess. We'll go reverse. Okay, you
I
invited.
have sent a request to like
सबको
all of them.
एक राय बोलो.
I have sent a request to all of them
Okay.
at once.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Hello, struggle.
Hello, Shubham. Nice to meet you. And
Nice to
my
meet you.
question was regarding a co-op game, as I have been working on this game for like few weeks now. And recently, what I found is that whenever I try to play this game with my friends, like with my developer friend, of course, he's programmer, and whenever I try to play, I just feel that like there's a sense of feeling that it is still in a production stage. I don't know why. Like I know there's no sound in game as of now. My friend is working on it, but in the level design itself and the gameplay itself, I feel like I'm having few things only. Like there's an obstacle course, and then there's a small puzzle, then there's an obstacle course again. Like, and there's a buffer zone as well where player just moves around, watches some scenery and all. But I just feel like there's a sense of feel that is missing from a finished game, or like from a particular gameplay or level which I'm missing out, I guess. And you yourself made a complete a commercial game as well, so I thought you have a good idea about it.
So, what you're wondering is why you feel like that?
Yes, and second is how can I overcome with that, and third thing is which is the most underrated thing while developing a commercial game that mostly people miss out.
So, I'll answer your second question first because it's the most important question, right? Um, when you're starting to build a project, before you start again, plan out why this game will work out. Like you should have few answers for ओके जब मैं इस गेम का ट्रेलर डालूंगा या गेम प्ले डालूंगा यूट्यूब पे इंस्टा पे जहाँ पे भी है लोगों को इंटरेस्ट आएगा उसका आंसर बहुत क्लियर होना चाहिए क्वेश्चन मार्क नहीं होना चाहिए उसका आंसर राइट दैट हैज टू बी देयर रेडी सेकंड for to answer the same question is that you want to be sure that whoever is the main developer again understands what that means जो भी तुम्हारा आइडिया है उसका डिजाइन क्या है और उसका डिजाइन कैसा होना चाहिए उसको समझ में आना चाहिए because you'll be stuck in this feedback loop of okay कुछ implement हुआ but ठीक करना पड़ा फिर से implement हुआ फिर से ठीक करना पड़ा if developer is not someone who understands game design for your game it's not going to work out really well so and about your first question why do you feel like that now this could really easily be an actual problem with the game where you feel like कि नहीं कुछ तो मिसिंग है कुछ तो मिसिंग है कुछ तो एक्चुअली मिसिंग होगा वहाँ पे the way we handled it we didn't rely on our own emotions अभी होता क्या है when you're working on something and it takes months तो महीने महीने तुम काम कर रहे हो right you at some point lose the ability to judge it properly वो हो जाता है like एक टाइम के बाद your brain starts reading your own project differently and you can't really think as a new fresh player the best way to solve this and the way we solved this was we didn't rely on our own emotions and our own judgment we brought few guys on discord उनको हमने build दिया and we play tested it from them and we wrote all the common feedback that's how you really know कि कहाँ पे missing है so when you feel like मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि कहाँ पे missing है don't rely on your own thoughts and judgment फटाक से बाहर का opinion ले लो so that's what I think about it
So yeah,
Okay.
we have a
Okay, move to the
quintessential
next guy.
gamer and Aditya Raj. So either one of you guys go ahead. You can ask your question, and once your question is done, I'll move you guys to the audience.
Shall I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I hope I am audible. Okay. I wanted to ask you, I have two questions actually. One is related to Kamla Ka game and other is just general one. Kamla, regarding Kamla, I would ask you, apart from PC games, do you have any other plans to expand the Kamla universe into comics, yeah, webtoons? And I think it has great potential to be done in that way. तो वो करेंगे क्या? And next is apart from horror, which other genres of game really interest you? I had asked you about platformer games. Will you be
अच्छा
developing any such games in the future, like Ori
अब
वगैरह वगैरह? I hope you
what was your
understand
first
that,
question
right?
again? Just
Ori
so
जैसा.
I forget. What was your first
Yeah.
question again? I'll just go one by one.
Just first question was, will you be
Yeah.
expanding Kamla universe into other media forms?
Okay. So
Comics हो गया, web series हो गया. Now they are
we are
pretty
already
popular.
working on that. हम लोग ऑलरेडी कुछ कर रहे हैं इसके बारे में एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगेन आई कांट शेयर व्हाट वी डूइंग आई कांट टॉक अबाउट इट राइट नाउ बट वी आर ऑलरेडी एक्सपेंडिंग द कमला यूनिवर्स इन अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग वे और वो जब आएगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली सबको पता चल जाएगा व्हाट आई मीन राइट नाउ सेकंड क्वेश्चन apart from horror games what am I really interested in and am I really interested in platforms? I actually really like platforms. Celeste is one of my favorite games. There was a game called Braid a long time ago that is also something I really like. There have been a lot of platforms. Obviously, as a kid, I loved Mario and Adventure Island and all that. So yeah, I like platformer games. It is not my go-to really anymore because bag platformers are most fun on like a controller, but I like most of the time to play with like a keyboard and mouse. Apart from that, what other genres? My favorite game is Elden Ring. I love Souls like, and if and one day we can really amp up our ambitions even more and build something huge, it would definitely be a very interesting take on, at least my take on what a Souls like can be in India. Obviously, there are already people who are doing that. There is this a game from Varun Maya coming out, right? Unleash the Avatar, that is also Souls like in India. So something like that, but in my own way, I guess. Would love to work on that. So yeah, Elden Ring, Souls like those type of games.
So Shubham, last guy for the day, Aditya Raj has a question for you, and then we'll wrap up the session. Go ahead, Aditya.
Hi, Shubham.
Hi.
So my question was the like we have started our indie studio scenes starting of this year, and we are working on a
Mhm.
foundation of game Fearman Online that Nikhil sir helped us to promote on this arcade route, and Nikhil sir also guide us. So my main concern was how to avoid like in your journey making the Kamla game, what things you avoided making like mistakes in other thing like we made many mistakes like story was not proper other than level changes and other things. What the main mistake you should avoid while developing a proper production level game?
Hmm. Um, Now, one of the things you mentioned was key level design, right? We actually did make a lot of mistakes in level design and we did fix them. So one of the things I would say you should not avoid is change also when it comes to level design because if 3 or 4 months के बाद हमारे पास जो level था, if I was like, okay, you know what, I don't want to work too much more on this, let's keep this level, then the game would be really bad. We changed the level 3 times, right? तो वो iteration जो है वो काफी important है. Other than that, the main mistakes that you can avoid are the same things that I spoke about, right? You want to be sure what you're working on is marketable. You want to be sure that the developer understands design. And one more thing I can add here is you also want to be sure that the so एक क्या होता है जब एक गेम प्लान होती है राइट पेपर पे तो तुम एक लिस्ट बनाते हो ऑफ थिंग्स दैट यू नीड टू डू टू कंप्लीट दिस गेम लेट्स से कि ठीक है पॉइंट ए लिखा है तुम पॉइंट 1 लिखा है तुमने स्टोरी प्लान करना है पॉइंट 2 लिखा है ये प्लान करना है 3 लिखा है ये प्लान करना है फिर 4 लिखा है कि ठीक है इसका मैकेनिक बनाना है इसका कोड करना है उसका कोड करना है दिस लिस्ट राइट अ मिक्स लिस्ट this list has to be built by a person who has already made few games for you. ठीक है अगर तुम इनिशियल हो ना बहुत न्यू हो आई वुड से कि तुम खुद ये लिस्ट मत बनाओ बिफोर यू स्टार्ट दिस प्रोजेक्ट कंसल्ट विद समवन हु हैज बिल्ड गेम्स एंड लेट देम बिल्ड दिस प्रायोरिटी लिस्ट फॉर यू वो तुम्हारा काफी टाइम सेव करेगा आई थिंक दिस इज द बेस्ट यू कैन डू इफ यू स्टार्टिंग आउट बिफोर यू स्टार्ट गेट समवन ऑन बोर्ड उन किसी से आधा घंटा 1 घंटा मांग लो और उनको बोलो कि भाई मुझे ये बनाना है शुड आई डू दिस and how can I plan this, and let that guy help you for a little bit in the start, because उससे तुम major sequence में गलती नहीं करोगे, because that is very important. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So Shubham, any parting thoughts from your side?
Man, I'm just happy that more and more developers, game developers are coming out, more and more games are getting built, and even though there are so many horror games right now, already there are more horror games coming out and other games also coming out. So in general, I'm happy that there are so many developers, because what's going to happen is, and I'm sure you can also agree with this, that because all these developers come out and new games come out, a lot of them are based in India. तो जो जो इंडिया में भी जो मिसिंग ऑडियंस है ना, उनके लिए धीरे 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 लोग स्पेसेस बना रहे हैं. तो इवन इफ योर गेम इज रियली स्मॉल एंड इट ओनली अट्रैक्ट्स 100 पीपल ना, फिर भी आई एम वेरी हैप्पी दैट यू आर डूइंग इट, बिकॉज दोस 100 पीपल विल could be the first time, it could be their first time trying an Indian game, और उसके बाद जब लोग बनाते जाएंगे एक इकोसिस्टम इंडिया का बिल्ड होगा जहाँ पे इंडियन गेम्स भी लोग खेल रहे हैं और खरीद रहे हैं. So I'm very like I'm really looking forward to how it looks in like 4 or 5 years basically.
That is a fantastic vision, Shubham, and I firmly equally believe in it myself as well. Because people might have played Outlast, people might have played Grand Theft Auto, whatnot, but when you release a new game, there is always this new set of audience who might not have played those older games. So there's always chance for new content, and that's a very powerful statement that you made. And thank you so much for the exclusive first announcement of Kamla's PS5's physical disc coming on. That's a great news to share early on before everyone else. So that's it, Shubham. Thank you so much for this session. It was very insightful. And guys, we will announce tomorrow. In fact, Shubham, do you want to tell who are the 3 winners, and we'll just give them the codes tomorrow morning?
Sure. That is, I will decide. This chat stays, right? Even after the call, this chat is not going away.
This video will also be uploaded on YouTube, so you can go through
Awesome.
the channel, and then you can tell me who wins.
Yes, I don't want to give out random answers abhi.
Yeah.
I'll scroll and decide.
All right. Okay, guys, so the decision will be announced tomorrow. Who gets 3 copies of Kamla? It will be 3 different people who will get 1 single copy of Kamla each. And that was it, session of Arcade Room, 16th session of Arcade Room with Shubham Rajanwar. And in the next session, we will also have Ronak, Shubham's teammate, who is now working on his own new horror game as well. So lots of exciting sessions ahead. Make sure you are, by the way, if you remember, you're going to give ownership of games. No, Ojish, I have not forgotten. It's just that I've been a bit tied up with my personal things, but I'll get to that shortly. Because the biggest criteria is to actually bring traffic, and unfortunately, none of them have been able to get more traffic. So we'll work on that. I'm also trying to see if we can get some exclusive internal deal with oppose.com as well. But anyway, that's more details for the next session. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining in, and I'll see you guys in the next session. Until then, take care and stay tuned. Bye bye.
Right, see you guys. Bye bye.